The Stars and Stripes, the newspaper for America's military community, traces its roots all the way back to the Civil War. But in recent months, there are growing questions about its editorial independence, as David Martin explains.
Stars and Stripes has a front page like no other.
We've got the two stories here, new tactics involving the drones and service members and families facing food insecurity.
On a day when the headlines are dominated by earthquakes in Venezuela and Supreme Court decisions on immigration, Eric Slavin, the editor-in-chief of Stars and Stripes, is putting out a newspaper for the American military.
We want to go with something that we know will directly interest our readers, right away.
The newspaper is part of the Department of Defense, and its reporters are Pentagon employees, but it has long maintained editorial independence from the top brass.
We're trying to provide independent news for the military community.
An average of 1.4 million people see Stars and Stripes each day, mostly online, although it still puts out a print version overseas.
Service members who are in very remote, austere places, maybe very little access to a commercial internet line.
First published during the Civil War, Stars and Stripes was revived in World War I under General John Blackjack Pershing, commander of American troops in Europe.
It was General Pershing who said, we need a paper for American troops overseas so they know what is going on and have a sense of why they're fighting.
Earlier this year, Catherine Giordano, then the archivist of Stars and Stripes, showed us what Pershing had in mind.
Message from our chief.
Yes.
It is your paper. Good luck to it.
Yep.
The paper has been published continuously since World War II.
It represents the free thought and free expression of a free people.
But this past January, Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell posted this on X. We are bringing Stars and Stripes into the 21st century. We will modernize its operations, refocus its content away from woke distractions that siphon morale.
What did you take that to mean?
I really don't know what they were referring to because they didn't explain it.
We found this story from June about upcoming European concerts by the rapper Bad Bunny, whose Super Bowl halftime show was panned by President Trump as one of the worst ever.
How does that relate to the military?
We have a lot of people who are newly stationed here overseas. They want to find interesting trips to take. They want to have fun.
Laura Corti, the reporter who wrote that story, covers the Middle East for Stars and Stripes. She's based in Germany.
I'm working for Stars and Stripes, not for the Pentagon, not for any administration, not for any policymaker. I'm here to cover the military community.
At the same time Parnell's post appeared, the Pentagon rescinded a federal regulation directing that Stars and Stripes operate without news management or censorship. Then came this memo signed by the Deputy Secretary of Defense.
That memo asserted our independence and at the same time placed new restrictions on what we can do.
Asserted independence, placed restrictions. It sounds like a circle you can't square.
I'm telling you what I saw and what's in there.
What was the immediate impact of that?
We were barred from running comics, and we were no longer to run news from paid wire services as well.
That meant no more news stories from the Associated Press, which was temporarily banned from the Oval Office for refusing to go along with changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
What kind of hole does that leave in the newspaper?
Well, what it means is that it's more difficult for us to cover breaking news.
Two members of the paper's advisory board have filed a lawsuit accusing the Defense Department of violating the First Amendment. The Pentagon declined our request for an interview, citing ongoing litigation.
Okay, you can't run wire server stories. You can't run comics. What's the big deal?
By having a government agency say, you cannot print this, it's the beginning of saying more, you cannot print that, or you must print this. It's editorial control.
The paper's ombudsman, Jacqueline Smith, a kind of editorial watchdog, wrote a column which began, Pete Hegseth doesn't want you to see cartoons in this newspaper anymore.
Did you know you were poking the bear?
Poking the bear in a way, but I had not at all expected that retaliation.
2 weeks later, she was fired.
You wrote yourself out of a job.
I guess I did.
Stars and Stripes has poked bears before, most famously with the cartoons of Bill Malden during World War II.
Unshaven, muddy, wrinkled, slovenly kind of looking. So these were the kinds of cartoons that Malden drew that soldiers loved because it depicted how war was.
But the legendary General George Patton despised Malden's work.
He tried to have the paper banned because he wanted crisp and spiffy-looking military men.
General Eisenhower, who would remain a reader as president, sided with Malden.
He wrote a letter to Patton and he said to not interfere.
80 years later, with missiles flying in the Middle East, Laura Corti keeps showing up on the front page with stories like this about the plight of military families evacuated from the Persian Gulf.
I do not feel any constraint. I don't feel like I've been stopped from covering any specific story.
Do you feel like the final shoe has dropped?
I do feel like there could be more to come.
What do you think the Pentagon's end game is here?
I worry that the end game is that turning Stars and Stripes into a public affairs propaganda machine.
Smith, who has filed a lawsuit challenging her firing, points to this passage in the Pentagon memo. Stripes' content must be consistent with good order and discipline of the military.
That's a phrase used in military court-martials. They could say anything is against good conduct.
I do view that as potentially compromising for our mission.
Editor-in-Chief Eric Slavin may have to choose between his allegiance to the First Amendment and his obligation to obey Pentagon orders. Do you have red lines in your mind?
Yes, I do.
Give me a red line.
Well, don't run a perfectly accurate story. Run this instead. Here it is, written by the Pentagon. That would be a red line.
You have a sign on your desk. Pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
Which foxholes are you willing to die in?
We need to be able to provide independent news to service members. If we can't do that, if we were turned into something other than that, if we were public relations, yeah, that's the foxhole.